Spirit 105.3 with Erica and Steve, and we're talking with Tori Hope Petersen. Amazing person. She grew up in the foster care system and was a victim of abuse, but she's now a wife and a mom and a foster parent and a foster care advocate. Oh, and she's also Mrs. Universe 2021. And she's written a book called Fostered, One Woman's Powerful Story of Finding Faith and Family Through Foster Care.
Wow, we are so glad to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be on. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're honored to have you. I have to start with a sweatshirt in your shop that says, I love you already, because I feel like it sums up your heart for foster kids. Can we talk about that first?
Yes. I don't even know where to start with my story whenever I share it, but I feel like there were so many people that invested in my life when I was in the foster care system. And they didn't need to see that I was a success story. They didn't need to see the happy ending. They just loved me already. They loved me even in my mess. And even though people were like, she's just going to be a statistic, she's just going to be a stereotype. And so I just try and live with that. Like, I love you already. There's no condition. You don't have to do anything. That's how Jesus was, like he died on the cross for us. And he wasn't like, you got to get baptized. You got to believe in me. Like he died on the cross, like knowing that there were people who were going to completely reject them. Like he said, I love you already.
Wow.
How did it happen that you avoided becoming that statistic that people were talking about?
So I had a track coach, and he really is a huge part of the story. I heard the narrative, you're going to be a statistic, and that really did scare me a lot, and I believe that. And then my track coach came in, and he was like, Tori, I think that you can be a state champion. And that was something so tangible, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to try for that. And while I was trying for that, we were training together. He became one of my closest friends. And my senior year, I went on to become a 4-time state champion in track and field, got a full ride scholarship to college. And then my track coach ended up taking me in and becoming my dad.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is so touching. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow. I was not expecting that. I feel like I need a different question. What did that mean to you?
I was so mad at God growing up. Like, I was just like, if you're this good father, if you're so loving, then like, why didn't you give me a father? And then God revealed himself to me. He was like, Tori, like, I'm your father. Like, I've been protecting you and loving you, and I can fill all the gaps that an earthly father cannot fill. So I accepted Jesus into my life. And then when my track coach came into my life, I didn't have all these expectations that he had to fill. He just got to be human. Like, we just got to be human together, and that means we let God be God, and we just got to grow in this beautiful relationship that we have now.
And now he's your life coach for life.
Yeah, he is.
I was going to ask, and you sort of did a little bit, but can you describe the relationship you have with him now?
Yeah, so he's the grandparent to my kids. During college, a lot of foster youth, when they're in college, they don't have anyone to go spend Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter, the holidays with. And so sometimes they'll just stay at school by themselves. Sometimes they'll go with friends. Sometimes they go to nonprofits that host places. But, every year I went back to Scott and we did Christmas together. He just has always made me feel like I'm a part of the family. And even when I graduated college, I thought, okay, like he was just trying to fill the gap while I was in college. Because I think I always had that mistrust, like never knowing when people were going to leave. But Scott just stayed by my side, and he was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And
wow.
He's just continued to be my dad, and his daughters have continued to be my sisters.
Oh.
And they always will be.
Oh, he taught you how to be radically hospitable. Tori, for somebody who they would love to be that, how do they start?
That's such a good question. So I would say there was a woman who really modeled this very well for me. Her name was Tanya, and she was a youth leader at my church. And so she would, when things were not good in my home, at my biological mom's home, she would come and take me and my sister, and she would make sure that we were safe. And she would just bring me along with her kids. Like if they were going to the zoo, we'd go to the zoo. She would take me grocery shopping if I needed food. And I was like, wow, this is like the kind of mom I want to be. And she would always just have people into her house, and people just walk into her door. And she always made food for people and always made them feel welcome. And I was like, wow, I want to have like this non-judgmental welcoming in my home as well. And I think that's how you do it. You just welcome people in as they are. You meet them where they are. You feed them, you love them, and you fill their needs.
And so you are a foster parent now. How did that process start?
My husband and I are currently in the process of being relicensed because we've actually moved states. But, it just started with a conversation, and a prayer. God, break our heart for what breaks yours. And just having this idea, I was always like, oh, I don't want to go into the foster care system. It's so broken. It's burned me. But knowing that God redeems all things and wanting to live that out, like God redeems all things, but we have to say yes to him. And wanting to say yes to him and wanting to step into the brokenness. Because as Christians, we have the Holy Spirit that lives within us, and that means that we can step into the most hurting of situations and we can heal them and make them whole. And so it just started with a conversation and a prayer between me and my husband. We were like, we want to be a part of this work. We want to play a part in it.
You are a beautiful person inside and out, for sure. You were Miss Universe. How did God use that platform?
Okay, well, first, I got to tell you that I was a total bully in high school. I have to say that.
Wow.
Because it is the Lord that has changed me. It is the Lord that has shown his love to me. And I was just heartbroken. Like, I didn't want to hurt people. I wanted to be a part of God's healing. And so just first, I want to give God the glory. It is truly all him. And yes, I competed in a pageant, and I had never competed in a pageant before. My husband and I were fostering a sibling group of 3, and we also have 2 biological children and an adopted son. And, we were just feeling all the heaviness of it all. And on top of that, doing my advocacy work. And I was like, I want to do something fun. Like, I just want to enjoy God. And the opportunity of pageantry came on the table. And I was like, that sounds fun. Like, it sounds fun to dress up and do my makeup and my hair. And so I was like, okay, God, I'm stepping into this and we're just going to have fun.
Well, were you surprised when you won the thing?
Yes, I'm still surprised. I still think it was a mistake. I think they called the wrong name. I don't know.
I'm sure it wasn't a mistake.
No. That's wonderful. Your whole life is kind of a miracle. But is there something specific that God did that you can share?
Gosh, there's so much. I think that my mom, even though she couldn't take care of me and my sister when we got older and I had to go into the foster care system, my mom did give me life after experiencing something very, very difficult. I was conceived out of abuse. Both my mom's parents had passed away, and the doctors also told her that she was diagnosed with AIDS. And when I was born, they said that was a false positive. I was born healthy and HIV negative. And so I think that's the first miracle of my life, is that my mom didn't doubt giving me this beautiful life and loving me through it.
Oh, you are wonderful. Wow. She was Mrs. Universe. She's a survivor of abuse, a foster child, now a foster parent. She's a wife and a mom and author of the brand new book, Fostered, one woman's powerful story of finding faith and family through foster care. Tori Hope, you are a delight, and we hope you'll come back.
Oh, my gosh. You are so sweet. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
thank you, Tori.
You're just amazing. God bless you, and may he continue to use you in a mighty way.
Thank you.